Raise your hand if you've ever illegally downloaded something online.
Put your mother hands up!
I'm talking about music, TV shows, movies, video games, software. Am I forgetting something?
It's a pornography store.
If you're a millennial like me and had any internet savviness at all, you used and abused the various ways of pirating content and probably destroyed your family computer by doing it. Look, you can admit it now. At one point in 2004, before YouTube, 1/3 of all internet traffic was attributed to peer-to-peer file sharing. But I'm here to argue that not all internet pirates are bad. Call me the Jack Sparrow of digital piracy. If anything, I would argue that digital piracy led to the internet we know of today. Let's start with Napster. The platform launched in 1999 as a centralized way to share MP3 files. Shout out to MP3 files. Without you, none of this is possible. Before Napster, there were MP3 files on the fringes of the internet, but they weren't always easy to find, and there wasn't a massive library of them. So Napster quickly became the easiest way to search for and download music. Now, Napster used peer-to-peer file sharing, meaning if you wanted to be a user, you would install Napster and open up a portion of your hard drive to the central server and other users. When you wanted to download Nickelback or whatever cool, universally liked band you listen to, you would search for it. Napster would then search the central index server and generate a list of other users that had the song you wanted. You then took a chance and picked the one that looked least shady and the least likely to destroy your parents' PC, and you clicked download. That file would then download directly from some random person's computer, which, mind you, in the days of dial-up internet could take forever, especially if somebody picked up the phone. But you did it anyway, because you just had to listen to Higher by Creed. Around 2000, Napster was huge. It had an estimated 75 million users and access to roughly 4 million songs. Everyone was using Napster. It got banned at certain college campuses because it was taking up half of the entire campus's internet bandwidth. Now, eventually the music industry figures out what's going on and they get pissed. This was a black market where copyright didn't matter, everything was free, and there were no royalties at all. Before this, the main way artists and labels made money was by people like us going to our local Sam Goody, finding the newest Chumbawamba album and begging our moms to buy it for us. But suddenly with Napster, I could just sit on my compact Pentium 1 computer and download whatever song I wanted, all while playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. But with so many people accessing music for free, the record labels and artists saw their bottom lines get destroyed. Record sales decreased by 33% in the year 2000. So you can see why Lars Ulrich, Dr. Dre, and Madonna were upset.
What the do you think you're doing?
Madonna scares me now, by the way. Am I the only one? Eventually, after a bunch of different lawsuits, including one from Metallica, Napster shut down in 2001.
Today, 9th U.S. Circuit Court in San Francisco ruled that Napster is infringing on copyrights.
But in just over 2 years, it had fundamentally changed the way we accessed, listened to, and shared music. So yeah, the music industry was furious. Napster was shut down, but there were other services just like it. LimeWire, Morpheus, Kazaa, FrostWire, all took its place, and album sales never went back to what they used to be. But there was opportunity. The people, us, the users, showed that we wanted music in a different way, downloaded immediately, a la carte. While the music industry was busy trying to sue the shit out of people and not change, someone not in the biz at all pulled up. Enter one of the few men to ever pull off a black turtleneck, Steve Jobs and Apple. They released the iPod in 2001, and in 2003 they launched the iTunes Store. Now you could get music with no risk of infecting your computer, no risk of a low quality audio file, and the music industry could still get a cut. But you still have to ask your parents for money. Then came Daniel Ek, a Swedish dude who created Spotify. The service came to the US in 2011, and it's like the glorious baby that Napster and iTunes birthed. A free way to stream any song you wanted, to hear it instantly at a high quality. Although Neil Young would tell you that MP3s are shit. Then there's BitTorrent, the other big mechanism for pirating content. BitTorrent uses a variation of Napster's peer-to-peer technology, but has no central server or library. BitTorrent splits files into small pieces on every user's computer, meaning instead of downloading an entire file from another person's hard drive, like you would on Napster, using torrents allows you to download pieces of that file from dozens of different users or seeders simultaneously. This made it more robust and much faster than Napster ever was, and made it easier to share large files like movies, software, and video games. There's also no search function within BitTorrent or another BitTorrent client. So to find the movie or TV show you wanted, you would go to a website like the Pirate Bay, ISO Hunt, or Kick-Ass Torrents. There are dozens of them, just pick one. From there, you would search the library for the file you wanted, download a torrent file, and then use a BitTorrent client like Views, FrostWire, uTorrent, or even BitTorrent itself to download that file. And these sites had searchable libraries that were web hosted, meaning you could Google whatever movie or TV show you wanted with torrent at the end of it, and you would almost certainly find what you wanted. In the mid-2000s, peer-to-peer use was at its peak, and companies and entrepreneurs definitely noticed that we wanted content in a different way. Soon after, YouTube entered the scene and gained massive popularity as a way to easily watch and share videos.
Hello.
Cheers. In 2007, Netflix pivots away from shipping DVDs directly to people and launched their streaming service. Also in 2007, Hulu launched and offered users content from TV networks like ABC, ESPN, Fox, eventually the BBC, and more as time went on. By 2011, Netflix had 21.5 million paid subscribers, Hulu had 1.5 million, and YouTube had 500 million monthly active users. The rise of these companies drastically affected the popularity of peer-to-peer file sharing, and slowly widespread piracy fizzled out. So Napster gave the masses the ability to pirate music at a large scale and forced the music business to change their old, antiquated album sales business model to better serve the end user. Eventually, when there were legitimate options for getting music for cheap or free at a high quality, with no glitches, viruses, or the potential for getting rickrolled, many people stopped pirating music. And BitTorrent's tech gave the masses the ability to share larger files like movies and TV shows, and provided a path for innovation that led to YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and dozens of other streaming services that we have today. Now, piracy was blamed for artists, record labels, TV and film networks losing money, but in my mind, the market was just telling them that we wanted content in a different way. Most just failed to see the opportunity. Who would have thought that all those hours you and I spent shadily downloading Dr. Dre and The Chappelle Show would contribute to such a massive shift in the entertainment industry?
You know I can get some music around here?
You can get it right there.
In a lot of ways, high-quality streaming severely cut down on piracy. Companies like Netflix and Spotify offered beautiful versions of what you wanted. A huge library of music and TV shows right at your fingertips instantly. But now, with so many streaming services out there and costs going up, Netflix is talking about cutting down on password sharing. People are starting to look for alternatives again. I may have to dust off that old Dell computer that's sitting in my dad's basement. And we haven't even discussed the larger international scene where certain shows or movies are region locked or unavailable in those other countries. The easiest way to get that content? You guessed it. Pirating. Film piracy skyrocketed during the pandemic, with so many movies going to streaming the same day they went into theaters, which means they were also on torrent sites the day they were released. Before, when a movie was still showing in theaters, you can only pirate bootlegged or cam quality versions, meaning literally someone sitting in the back of the theater recording it on whatever video camera they had. Someone could walk in front of the camera, you could hear people talking. That's some old school right there. The best way to combat piracy is making content more affordable and making access to that content easy and risk-free. But piracy is inevitable. It's an internet rite of passage. It will never die. It'll just force companies to innovate. And yeah, people's IP will be stolen. There will be copyright infringements, but record labels were stealing from artists for years, and movie studios certainly aren't charities. Hi, is this Metallica? Can you tell Lars I'm sorry? I illegally downloaded Master of Puppets, but I swear to you, I listened to it way before Stranger Things made it cool again. NFL Blitz. Don't f with me. Ooh, Game Boy action. Delete. Enhance. Delete.